Okay, hi, good evening. Welcome to For Fitness. This is yoga alignment 15 minutes class. It'll be led by me, Wonah, and our another teacher, Shelby here. Let me just check if the video's on. Today we're gonna be covering alignment. The reason why we have this class today is I've been getting some questions about if people are doing things right or wrong, so I wanted to go over some basic alignments. I want to make sure the sound is on. Good. Okay, go. Please come to stand up today to start. If you have any questions, please leave us any comments or message. And so she'll be turning around. Let me just adjust a little bit of the camera angle so that we can have all the view. Good. So naturally when we stand, it is natural that our hip is slightly tilted, lower back is slightly curved. But in yoga stance or anything, when we say scoop your tailbone under, it's this action. So she will have a block in between her thighs, right? Now she's going to push that block to the front by squeezing her butt. Yes, that flattens lower back and also activates your core. Her four corners of her feet are pressing down firmly. And here she'll raise two arms by her ear. So when we raise our arms, okay, angles just a little bit. When we raise our arms, I want to show you from the back. We need to keep space between ears and shoulders. So although she's reaching through her fingertips, I am pulling her shoulders down. And when you raise your arms, your upper arms outer rotating. So like I am wrapping my fingers around her arm, so her arm is going outwards. Upper arms outer rotating in your downward dog or when raising your arms, anything. And when you push the invisible block between your thighs, your glutes are working, your core is activated, and also feet are grounding down. Okay, that's a basic standing. Even standing up tall is quite high. Okay, remove this block. Let's do one sun salutation. Inhale, come to Samasthiti. Yes, she'll be going to the top of her mat. Inhale, arms up by her ear. Yes, you see her arms going, ears away, shoulders away from her ear. Now she'll be bending forward, forebend. She has quite good hamstring, so her forebend is quite deep. But if anyone has short hamstring or hamstrings are tight, you can bend your knees, but you want to rest your belly on your thighs. So that whole spine is lengthening and upper body is relaxing. From here, she will have her hands by her feet, head up halfway by her feet, or if you have tight hamstring, you can have it on your shin. And on the floor now, step back to plank. When you come into plank, shoulders above your wrist, so that it is 90 degrees from your shoulders to torso. Now her lower back is flat and is not curved, and she's kicking through her heels. Now come to chaturanga, come forward and bend the elbows. Yes, that's 90 degrees only. Now come all the way down. She'll be doing cobra here. Her hands are by her torso. Her elbows are bent. Elbows are bent. So the way that she's coming up in cobra is not because she's pushing through her arms. It's all about her spine arm. Now push to downward dog. Flip your heels and push all the way. Let's talk about downward dog. So first thing first. If you have tight hamstring, you can bend your knees. It's okay. Heels don't reach the floor. That's not an issue. But if your downward dog is all the way here, I want you to push your chest to your thighs. So your chest going direction to your thighs. Chest really, really pushing in. Her shoulders stretching, as we talked about it before, arms are outer rotating. When you're in your downward dog, I want you to press the second knuckles firmly down. And as I try to lift her fingers off, they keep coming down. It's because she's gripping the floor. It's not resting fingers. You are gripping the floor and press the second fingers all the way down. Now I'm pushing her hips all the way up and back this direction. And if you have the heels down, from the backwards, what you should feel is someone's trying to pull your thighs towards to my direction. So thighs are inner rotating, upper arms outer rotating. Her shoulders are being stretched. Come on. Spine is long. Lastly, your hamstring is stretching. So the first thing, chest to your thighs, hip bones up and back direction, then stretch your hamstring down. Okay, come to plank one more time, please. And let's go all the way down to on the floor. This time we'll be doing upward dog. Calm down and upward dog. Upward dog is different than cobra is because her thighs are not on the ground. Her toes are pointing straight back. Super strong legs. She's feeling energy from her ankles, the knees to hip and all the way up. But what's lifting her off from the ground is her arms rather than the spinal strength. Go to child pose, please. Okay, in her child pose, she'll be having her knees slightly wide apart and her spine is super long and stretching. Arms are resting. There's no force from your fingers to your spine. Everything is just relaxing. And let's come to stand up, please. Let's move into a few poses that I usually work in my vinyasa movement. Triangle pose. Let's start with our right leg first. Heel to heel. So it'll be about, depending on your height, it'll be about 3 to 4 feet apart. But make sure your left back heel in lines with your right heel. Now from here, she'll be reaching towards to her right side, right? But from the ground, this energy is pushing all the way up from her toes to hips. Hips trying to pull back, but her arm is trying to reach. And then she can come all the way down, right? So this side of body is super. And there's a different body type. If you cannot reach the floor, it's okay to have a block. This block is not there to collapse your body. It's more about supporting to lift your bodies up. And her torso is rotating. If you see from my direction of the view, she's falling into invisible mirror. She's in line perfectly. Her hips, ankle, torso, everything fits in very, very narrow mirror. So her torso is opening up. Her right leg from toe to hips pushing towards to me. Back heels firmly pressing down. Her fingers are spread apart from to the left, to the right, opposite direction. Come all the way up, please. Let's do it just the other side, just to make it sure. And another variation without the block. The full pose will be either grabbing your ankle or even on the floor. You know, there are different yoga that we do outside or inside. Rather than that, I want you to imagine she's pushing her left hip back side. Her body is stretching toward to left and left hand up. Right hand up, left hand down. Her body is twisting towards the back. Her hips pushing towards the forward, and she's falling into invisible mirror in between. Come all the way up, please. Thank you. twisted triangle pose, which I have in my vinyasa all the time. Now let's do the right hand side first. So same thing, right leg to the front, left heel to the back. Here, every time we do one leg front and one leg behind, it is natural that her back hip usually goes back. But I always say bring your hips square. So both of our hips are facing front of the mat. From here, what I teach is having on your right hand on your hip, but reach your left arm up. From here, she'll be hinging from your hips. So she's folding her upper body, but her hips are not moving. Yes, halfway holding there, so it requires a lot of support, right? Staying right there, or you can have your left hand on the block. Without moving hips, she's turning her upper body. Left arm reaches up. So here, pressing your left back heel and outer edge firmly down. Your right leg is super strong. This is quite intensive stretching and twisting. Can come all the way out, please. Yes, nice. So we'll be turning to the left just to make it short to even out. Left toe face back and right toe slightly turning. So left toe, the second side, toe is facing straight back, back heel and outer edge presses down here. Hands on your hips. Bring your right hip forward. 1, 2, 3. So that both of your hips facing forward. Now left hand on top of your left hip. Reach your right arm up. Hinge from your hips. So hips, they don't move, just your upper body. Left leg, left hip is pushing back and up, while your right rib is trying to reach forward and down. Okay, you can actually place on the block or without the block here. Without moving it, just your upper body turning. So use your core to turn your upper body. Press your back heel firmly down. Left toe and four corners of feet very strongly firmly down. And when you come up, slightly use your core to come up. Just at the top. Very nice. Come to the back side of your mat this time. We'll be doing side angle. Side angle pose stand will be slightly wider than triangle. So 4 feet. How do you measure your 4 feet? Step as wide as much so that your feet are below your hands. You see she's very widening her. Then turn your right toe towards the front. Equally distribute your legs to the front and the back. So bend your right knee. You're gonna come into warrior 2. Then side angle. Your right elbow slightly touches your right knee. Here, most of people, I've noticed they're putting all the weights on your front knee so that there's no weight in your back heel. But when you press your back heel and outer edge firmly down, you should feel left inner thighs also working. So notice if you're putting all the weights in the front, shift some weight into the back and press the back heel and outer edge. From here, she'll be reaching her arms, left arm, towards to the front. Again, here last part, arm is auto-rotating, but she's pulling her shoulder blades away from her ear. From the left ankle, hip, shoulder, and the fingertips making one straight line. This side of body, side angle is stretching. Now, she can look to the left fingertips or side angle variation. You can also come place your hands inside of your left knee or outside of your left knee, whichever. She's not losing the contact of the back heel and the outer edge. And slowly come out, please. Thank you. Switch side. 4 feet apart. Your second side. Left toe points back. Right heel. Heel to heel 1 line. Right outer edge, and the back heel presses down. Now bend your left knee. When you bend your left knee, another one thing that I've noticed is that people, their torso also follows your left hand, but I want you to bring it exactly over your hip. She has a very good alignment, but most of people are here. I want you to bring your body over the hips. Now she's gonna place your left elbow on top of your left knee slightly and activate the outer edge of your right foot and the back heel. Then she can feel the left right in like that. She swings her right arm over. Lastly, she pulls her shoulder blades down so that she makes ear and the shoulder, there's space in between. See the one straight line from your right ankle, hip, shoulder, and the fingertip. Beautiful. Slowly come out, please. And set the tone. Let's cover warrior 1 and 2. Okay. Let's face this side. So she will be having warrior 1, right foot to the front, left heel to the back. Heel to heel, 1 9. Her right foot, the front foot, right toe is facing the top of the mat. Left foot, back foot is pressing heels and outside. And again, when she steps her left foot towards the back, it's natural that her hip can go slightly back. But in the warrior 1, we want hips squared and facing forward. So she'll be rotating her head so both of hips facing the same direction. Now, front knee bends while you're pressing outer and the back edge. And remember at the beginning of your class, I said raise your arms. This is the time that we remember she's reaching through the fingertips, but shoulders and ear, there's a space in between. When you press the outer and the back heel down, there's core engaged. Lastly, I want you to scoop your tailbone under so there's no curve in your lower back. She has very flattened. It's fine. But most people, when they do, they're overarching, scoop tailbone under. That's the action I talked about. The block you push through so that the tailbone is tucked under. Very nice. Change side maybe. Okay. To the left. I just want to show you the same. You see her right hip is back. She's pulling right hip forward, so back, both of hips facing forward. Bending the front knee and reaching her arms out. Lastly, try to scoop your tailbone under, flattening the lower back. Now that her core is engaged, reaching through your fingertips and shoulders away from your ear. Let's come to top of your mat again. Okay. To the warrior 2. Right foot to the front and left foot to the back. I said warrior 2 are slightly bigger than warrior 1. Right foot point the top of the mat, left heel and outer edge presses down, and bend your knee, come into warrior 2. Yes, and here I've seen people, they're struggling bending their knees. They're not quite going in deep as her. It's because your stance are too short. When your stance are too short, although you try to bend, your knee will go over past your ankle. But knee should be 90 degrees. This is the most stable. And back heel presses down. In order for you to get the 90 degree, you must widen your stance if your knees are not bent or too much bending. And also, when you're too much bending, if your torso is to the front of your mat, I want you to bring it over your torso. So her torso is stacked right above her hips. Here, her hips are opening because she's pushing her right knee out, thigh back, and hips are opening to the side, and shoulders and hips facing one side, sideways. Would you go back to warrior 1? You see her hips and shoulders facing forward. And back to warrior 2, please. Hips and shoulders are moving same direction. And let's change side to warrior 2. So this time warrior 2 on your left hand side. Bend your left knee. Fingers spread out wide. 2. And then if your left knee is not 90 degree bend, you can widen your stance. so that you can bend your knees more. Then torso right over her hips. Left knee pushes out, right thigh pushes back. Hips pushing forward to the side. She has very good orientation. Okay, let's come all the way back to stand up tall. Okay, pyramid pose we can do. There's a comment that I would like to read. Okay, good for healthy body. Thank you. Pyramid pose. It is also called intense stretch pose. I say we can have our left foot back and right foot to the front. And this is 3 feet apart. Again, her left foot is in the back, so it's natural that her left hip is coming towards me, right? And then I say, bring your hips facing forward. She's turning her hips and body the same direction, which is the front up. Now she's pressing the back heel and outer edge firmly down. Here, she's pushing her right hip, front leg is very, very strong. She's pushing through her right toe to right heel, hips all the way pushing back, and she's reaching forward. There's a variation. Would you come back? And there's a reverse namaste, which is flipping your namaste in. She has a very open shoulder. This is a full posture. If this is not available, you can also grab opposite elbow. Here, when you fold, right foot to right hip is pushing all the way towards the knee to the back side while you're trying to reach your left rib cage forward. Heart to knee pose is not head to knee pose. So straight spine, you see her spine is totally straight. So much weight in her front right foot. Back heel presses down. Her spine is straight and palm all the way up. To turn to the left hand side. Would you show a full posture if you have a reverse? Okay, from here it's the opposite side. Her left foot is in the front, right heel is in the back. She just turned her right hip forward, so both of hips facing forward. Here she'll be hinging from her hips with either reverse namaste or grabbing opposite elbow. There's another option that I also provide is a shoulder stretching. The same posture as you come down with straight front leg and hinging from your hips, but you can also stretch your shoulder. But when you do that, base of the wrist, they're squeezing. Would you show up? When you interlace your finger, this hurts your wrist. In order for you to strengthen your wrist, so to protect your wrist, you will be squeezing the base of the wrist and the palms pressed together rather than falling apart. Squeeze them together. Now her shoulders are opening up to push her chest forward so that she can hinge from her hips. Left hip pushes back. Heart is trying to touch knee with straight spine. If you have a range, your arms can go over to stretch your shoulders. But she keeps squeezing her palms together. Very strong front leg. Back heel presses down. Hips level, even, and slowly come up, please. Very nice. And let's come to sit down on our mat. Let me adjust some angles here. I rarely teach this posture, but today I wanted to go over Paschimottanasana. It's seated for bending posture. So when you sit down, it is quite challenging to sit up even tall because your lower back is naturally arching or your body gets rounded. You're sitting on your computer quite long. This is quite natural. So in order for you to sit up straight, what she will do is she's flushing her butt out using her fingers. She'll be grabbing her butt to move it outside the flush. Yes, so that it is more stable. Now, if you have tight hamstring, it's okay to bend your knees. And if you have a hard time sitting up tall already, you can use your block to raise your spine slightly up. And when you come forward, this is the same as a pyramid pose. Rather than rounding your back, you should come forward with chin forward. Look at your big toe and should be going down. You can reach your arms. If you don't have the range, you can grab a towel. But here, direction is her chin up, chest forward. Rather than pulling with your arms, shoulders still away from your ear, she's trying to touch her belly button to her thighs. Slowly go down and try to rest your belly on your thighs. What I would suggest is moving your butt outwards, 1, 2, and then try to stretch from your belly to slowly go all the way down. And let's come up, please. And next posture is Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So there are many range of hip mobility. She already has open hips. If you have hard time sitting up like that, you can also rest your knees on top of your blocks. This also Baddha Konasana too. If you don't need blocks, you can remove the blocks. Inner soles touching together. You can grab your feet like you're opening up your book. You'll be opening inner soles towards the outside. From here, if I may show you from the side way, would you turn around, please? Yeah. And there's Baddha Konasana A and B. A is straight spine, chin forward, belly touches your feet. B is round spine, trying to touch your forehead to your toe. But either way, her thighs are rolling outwards. So they are rotating outwards, and she'll be coming from hips, belly touches first. She keeps looking forward rather than down, because when she looks down, would you look down? You see how she starts rounding her back, but when she looks up, chin forward, then it is a straight spine. And she's feeling her hip opening posture. This is Baddha Konasana A. We rarely do B, so I will be skipping that posture. And let's cover Janushirshasana. Okay, left leg stretches forward. Right leg is bent. From here, she's flexing her left toe, and right inner sole touches the left inner thigh. Reaching your arms both up by your ear, shoulders away from your ear, upper arms outer rotating. Again, belly touches thigh, chin forward, look front. She's coming down straight spine, trying to bring her right rib cage towards her left thigh. When you have the grip, relax your shoulder one more time. Slightly pull rather than using your shoulders, but come forward with your chin. Feeling the left side of your hamstring stretched, and right thigh should be outer rotating and come all the way. Let's come all the way up to sit down. Change side just to make even out. Left foot inner sole touches your right inner thigh. Right toe is pointing up. You see what she did just now is she's moving her butt slightly 1, 2, 3 so that she can sit up tall. I usually grab the flush out so that I can have my pelvic all the way on the floor. Now when you come down, raise your arms by your ear. Arms outer rotating, shoulders away from your ear. Here, you will be turning your torso slightly towards the right leg, and she'll be hinging from hips. Even coming down, she'll be using her core. What's holding up upper body straight is core, rather than collapsing. And come all the way down to grab. And when you grab the foot, hook your fingers and lift your chin up one more time. And come forward even deep. Very nice. And also come up. Just to show you the difference, or I can give you the wrong example. Pachimatanasana, what she did is folding, hinging from her hips and belly try to touch the floor. This way, your spine is rounding. So I always say chin up. Head is part of your spine, neck is part of your spine. When you look down, your spine is rounding. When you look forward, straight spine, you can come all the way. Janishirsasana, the same thing. Let's work on our twist. So, twisting, bottom left leg can be straight, and right leg can be over your left knee. This is option number 1. Option number 2, she can bring her left foot towards the right hip, bending. Yes, but if the option number 2, you're struggling to sit down, it is okay to have option number 1, because in your spine twist, you must lengthen to sit up tall to twist rather than hunchback. I'll show you what it means. From here, she will have right hand behind her spine. So this hand is not leaning back towards you, but is helping her spine to sit up tall. And then this shoulder, if your shoulder's like this, I want you to out-rotate your shoulder so your shoulder's opening up. Then reach your left arm. Here's another variation so you can come. If your right hip is already taking off the ground, you're having a hard time, it is okay just to grab your left knee, right knee using your left hand, and yes, hug your right knee or even hold it and twist. So that her body is twisting while her hips are grounded firmly. This is option number 1. Option number 2, if you have the range, reach your left arm all the way up. So here, she's sitting up tall, number 1. Number 2, she's lengthening left side of her body. Number 3, twisting starts. Number 4 is hooking your elbow. Lastly, using your left elbow to push your right knee so that you can turn even more. I don't usually teach binding because when you try to bind, what happens, you start hunchback. But another variation where you can do, you can grab your left knee using your right knee, left knee using your left hand, and keep on twisting, and use your back hand to sit up tall. Very nice. And switch side. Now left knee bends over your right knee. Right knee can be straight or bent. Right knee bends if you have the range. Then right hand will be reaching backwards. Left hand will be reaching backward, right behind your spine. This hand is helping to sit up tall, to lengthening spine. Now reaching your right arm up, right side of body lengthens out of the waist to fingers. Now start twisting. If you have the range, the elbow goes outside of your left knee. Here, using your right elbow to push your left knee against so that you can turn even more. Left hand is pushing away from the floor and rotate your shoulders out so that you can turn even more and deep. Very nice to come all the way. Sit. Let's work on one core posture that I usually teach. Navasana. is usually bend your knees and fingertips go back. Yes. And she's trying to find her balance on her hip bones. The back hand will help you to lift your chest forward. So these fingers and hand will lift your chest forward. Now walk your fingertips slightly forward by your hips. Yes, she's finding her balance on her hips. Then when you find the balance, lift your heels up. Shin can be as parallel, but she keeps her spine straight and chest pushes forward. Heart is opening up. Lastly, you can reach your fingers to the front to keeping that form and point your toes. Lastly, that's very nice. Good. And release. And today we can gently cover I want to review our sun salutation, which I teach usually. There's A and B that I teach. So she'll be demonstrating, I'll be cueing, but again I'll be covering exactly what we went through. So come to the top of your mat. Let me what's our angles? Okay, come to the top of your mat, stand up tall. Raise your arms and reach up to the sky. Hinge from your hips, bend forward. Exhale is deep forward bending. If you have tight hamstring, you can bend your knees, but try to rest your upper body. Belly, try to touch your belly. And as you inhale, halfway lift, look forward, flat spine. Now place your hands by your feet, bend your knees, step back to plank, and come to chaturanga. Exhale, look forward. And as you inhale, upward dog, top of your feet down, thighs are off the ground, push the floors away, shoulders roll out, and exhale to downward dog. Now, press your hands firmly down, hip pushes up and back, belly to your thigh. Lastly, heel presses down. Look at your belly button as you inhale. One more exhale. As you inhale, look to the top of your mat. Step or jump between your hands. Feet come between your palm. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms up, reach up, stand up tall. Here, again, squeeze your butt and tuck your tailbone under. Very nice, and stand up tall. Arms by your hips and stand up tall. Sun salutation B. Inhale, arms up, look at your thumbs, shoulders away from your ear. Scoop your tailbone under. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward deep. As you inhale, look up, straight spine, flatten lower back. Hands can be on the floor or on your shin, but flat spine. Exhale, hands down, feet step back or jump back to chaturanga. When you do chaturanga, come forward, bend your knee. Okay, as you inhale, upward dog, top of your feet down, hands pushes away from the floor, and exhale to downward dog. As you inhale, right foot steps forwards, warrior one. Left heel and outer edge presses down. Left hip is facing forward, both of shoulders faces forward, shoulders away from your ear, look at your thumb. As you exhale, hands down, right foot steps back, come to plank, and no plank, look forward in chaturanga. As you inhale, upward dog, and exhale to downward dog. As you inhale, left foot steps forward. right heel spins down, right heel and outer edge presses down, and arm reach by your ear, look at your thumb, bring your right hip bone forward, butt press your right heel and outer edge down, left knee 90-degree bend. And as you exhale, hands down by your left foot steps back, comes to high plank, and as you exhale, exhale chaturanga. When you come to chaturanga, she only comes down halfway. This is very good chaturanga. As you inhale, upward dog, top of your feet down. And push your hip bones all the way up and back to downward dog. Normally we will stay 5 breaths, but because of the length of a class, I usually do 3. But as you inhale, take deep breath in, and exhale, push your chest to your thigh, look at your belly button, hips all the way up and back. Lastly, heels presses down. As you inhale, look to the top of your mat, feet steps or hop between your hands, come forward halfway, lift, inhale, that's one movement, look forward, flat spine, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up, hinge from your hips, arms by your ear, look at your thumbs here, don't arch your lower back, scoop your tailbone under, press 4 corners, your feet firmly down, and stand up tall. Very nice, and release. Lastly, would you come to sit down? We have 5 minutes, so I would like to cover yoga breathing. It's a deep, free breathing. What it means is you should breathe comfortably, but you're focusing on your lengthening your exhale. Inhale as well, but when you focus on your exhale, inhale is quite automatic. First, when you inhale, your belly rise and the ribcage expands. Breathe through your chest. And then when you breathe out, ribcage, also ribcage getting smaller, and when you think there's no more air left, you pull your belly button one more time to empty your lung. What we can practice is how I'll be doing with Shelby. You can have your hands in front of your ribcage. Here, try not to move your fingers using your hands or anything, because we're practicing this deep breathing sound. When you do, as you inhale, belly rise, ribcage expand. This finger should be going away from each heart because this is representing your ribcage. Exhale, ribcage all gets smaller. When you don't think there's air left, just one more time, you pull your belly button in, contract your lower abdominal. Let's do one more time. Inhale, belly rise. And this part should be, and exhale. Okay, just getting small, and at the end, you pull your belly button towards the spine one more time. If you can continue this deep breathing throughout your practice, other than Shavasana, we're using, there's a breathing called Ujjayi breath. You're specifically using back side of your throat, making the snoring sound, creating that back side of your throat sound. If you can continue this deep breathing throughout your practice other than Shavasana, then you have succeeded your yoga practice, because breathing is the key of your practice. It will tell you how far you can go. It will tell you you should not be going to the next option. If you focus on your breathing, you must be hearing this a lot from your yoga teacher. Focus on your breathing, deep breathing, deep breathing. Because there are postures your body may not be ready to go in deeper. Then your breathing gets heavy. You may lose concentration of the breath. To go back into your breathing, take a breath. If you fall out of a pose, it's okay. I still do that too. Take a breath, deep breath in, and go back into your posture. And when you can continue this deep breathing in your posture, that you know you can go deeper, twisting, or next variation of the option. But all I meant to say is focus on your breathing, asana postures. It'll just come, keep on practicing. And I think today is pretty much covered. Thank you for our guest teacher, Shelby, in this yogido. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please leave us any comments. Within my knowledge, I would love to answer. And if there's any mistake that I've made, I'm also here to learn. So please leave us a comment and keep on watching. Keep on practicing. See everyone. Thank you. Namaste.